I think that banning the breed is the easiest option because it's a quick decision. It affects a limited number of people that own this breed. It will have a positive impact on the middle classes who have cockapoos and, you know, dogs that they love to just let free in the park, and then they can forget about the XL Bully.
Could you guarantee that your dog won't attack other people or even yourself?
I don't think you could guarantee that from any dog, to be honest. I know people who've had really horrible bites from Jack Russells and terriers and all sorts of different dogs.
The number of dog attacks in the UK is on the rise, and the American XL Bully has been responsible for half of all dog-related deaths in the UK since 2021, including 3 children. People have started to call for a ban of this breed to prevent more deaths and injuries. I decided to meet Sophie, the owner of Billy, the XL Bully, to hear what she had to say.
What attracted you to this sort of breed of dogs?
So I grew up with boxers, and I've always liked that style of dog rather than, let's say, a fluffy type of dog. And so we were looking at a good breed to get. We wanted something that was suitable for urban life in London, but that would do long walks eventually, maybe even run with me eventually. And something that was, you know, we do live in a city, something where I would feel slightly more secure walking the dog. So we looked at things like staffies, considered a staffy. So we actually saw somebody with an American Bully and we asked them what breed it was, and we were a bit confused because obviously they do look a little bit like a staffy. And they said just basically a slightly bigger version, slightly different breed. And then we researched, so we watched a lot of videos and watched a few sort of documentaries on YouTube about the breed and just felt like it was the right breed for us. And I will say that that was before a lot of the media changed. So I think, you know, today, if we were making that decision, it might have been a different decision.
Like you said, you know, there's been media coverage about how there has been a rise in dog attacks, and the XL Bully has been linked to over half of the number of people who've been killed by dog attacks in the last year. Does that concern you?
It doesn't concern me with my own dog in that sense. I think it's definitely a worrying time to own an American Bully because as soon as somebody asks me what breed he is, I almost pause before I go to say it because I think, what's their reaction going to be? It's been really tough to watch what's happened in the media, to be honest, because obviously they're terrible tragedies and I really feel for the families. But I think there's a big consideration about the circumstances around the dog attacks as well. Children being left unsupervised with dogs, which I don't think you should leave any dog with a child. So there are kind of other factors, I think, whereas I think the easiest thing to do is to just blame the breed.
Do you think sometimes people like this breed of dog for that security element because they sort of pose a threat to not only other animals but other humans?
I mean, you can see it in hip-hop videos and you can see it with certain areas that I'll drive through and you will see people with this breed and you know that that dog represents some kind of status for them. And yeah, I think a lot of people would be maybe less prone to mugging someone with this breed than if they were walking a Chihuahua. And I will say that that was a consideration for us when we were choosing a dog. I'm alone a lot, I would be walking the dog in the dark perhaps, and we did want a breed, not necessarily this breed, but we did want a breed that had a size to it.
What a lot of people question is, you know, pit bulls were raised for, you know, bull baiting, dog fighting. Do you think that is perhaps just in their genetics to be good at fighting? It's
interesting because the American Bully is a relatively young breed, about 30 years, I think. And there was effort made, obviously, to breed based on temperament. So yes, they've brought the Pit Bull Terrier in, but they've brought other breeds in as well. And I think that if you do your research and you go to somebody who is passionate about these dogs, you will find a dog with a good temperament. But I think if you know, the rise in sort of backyard breeding through lockdown, puppy farms, etc., and people breeding purely for size and to have the dog look a certain way, you're probably not going to get a dog where the temperament's been considered. I think that all dogs will have a genetic kind of nature element, and a nurture element to them, just as certain dogs will have a desire to chase squirrels or chase cats. And I think it's about how you manage that, really, and thinking about the safety of your dog and the safety of other people as well.
Do you think that currently in the UK there's enough sort of regulation put in place for both breeders and dog owners around XL Bullies?
No. As someone who is a responsible dog owner, I believe, I would welcome more regulation around dogs. I don't think that banning a specific breed is the answer, because there will be a next breed after this that people will decide is the new status dog. I would personally have a license if I needed to have one. I would do training if I needed to do a specific training. And I think a lot of responsible dog owners would do the same. Especially if it means your dog gets to have a happy and healthy life.
So I guess you're against this idea of banning XL Bullies then?
I think that banning the breed is the easiest option, because it's a quick decision. It affects a limited number of people that own this breed. It will have a positive impact on the middle classes who have cockapoos and, you know, dogs that they love to just let free in the park, and then they can forget about the XL Bully. Whereas I think that it's not as simple as that. I've seen young people walking Belgian Malinois, and I think that that will be the next dog after the XL Bully, if the XL Bully gets banned. And I think the answer is not banning dogs. I think a much better answer would be looking at how people raise their dogs, how tough, sorry, he's distracting me, is looking at what the laws are around breeding in the UK as well.
Yeah. Hello, Billy. Hello. Oh, thank you. That's very kind.
Yeah, I think a breed ban is the easiest thing. For a political standpoint, it will, you know, make people happy that are reading a lot of what's in the media, but I don't think it's the answer.
I guess in terms of wider society, you know, people have been reading about how these dogs have been linked to these dog attacks. People will probably feel nervous because of that, and being nervous around these sort of dogs.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe it should be taken into consideration about wider society and the fear they may feel, even if there isn't actually a substantial threat there?
Yeah, I think I can understand a lot of people will ask me what breed he is, and when I say what breed he is, I sometimes see people almost take a step back. But I think on the other hand, so many people seem to love this type of dog, and I would say 80% of people smile at him when he walks past rather than cross the road or get nervous. I think it's all about how under control your dog is. We can go and sit in a busy cafe, and I keep him very close to me. I make sure I have treats, and you know, I'm very respectful of other people. That not everybody likes dogs, full stop. But I've seen more aggression come from Cocker Spaniels when we've been out on walks than I've seen from him. So
could you guarantee that your dog won't attack other people or even yourself?
I don't think you could guarantee that from any dog, to be honest. I know people who've had really horrible bites from Jack Russells and terriers and all sorts of different dogs. Some of the things that I've done with him is he's trained to understand the word enough. If we're playing, immediately means stop, and I think that that's something that we started from when he was a puppy. As far as when it comes to, let's say, other people and other dogs, that's my responsibility to make sure that he always has space from them. I obviously can't control other dogs running up to us off lead, but I can do my best to protect him in that situation. Is more how I feel, to be honest, rather than thinking of it the other way around. It's more about how can I keep him out of the way, so that should anything happen, you know, the blame would go to him regardless.